What is going on, guys? Welcome back to Flake Garage, where we do a lot of videos on mini trucks, easy to follow tutorials, and showcase other cool cars that we can get our hands on. And today we're going to be doing a little comparison between both of my Mazdas. I think it's a nice difference between what a body lifted with big tires Mazda looks like versus a skinny tire slam Mazda B2000. So I'm going to show you some measurements and everything so you can see, I guess, what two extremes you could go if you want to modify it and leave that stock Mazda behind. So let's run right into it. Alright guys, and before we jump right into that, we're going to give you a quick rundown on both trucks. We're going to start here with my 1988 Mazda B2200. This one has a 3-inch body lift on it and also has 18x9 with 265 60 18-inch tires on it. That means there's some nice thick midi tires, so I can show you here real quick. So we have obviously some very big wheels on it, and then with the 3-inch body lift, this puts this truck sitting a lot taller than what a factory truck would be. It probably, I would guesstimate, it's going to be around 4 inches just because of the tire size that we have on it. But it would probably be like between 4 to 5 inches compared to a stock Mazda with a stock suspension and no body lift or anything like that. And now, guys, we're going to jump right into my Mazda B2000 here. This is a 1987 Mazda B2000, and this is dropped approximately about 5 inches all around. The ride does suffer a little bit, and part of that drop also has to do with the tires. So I would guesstimate that between the skinny tires and bigger wheel on it and the drop all around from factory, we're probably looking about between 6 to 7 inches compared to what a factory Mazda B2000 or B2200 would look like. So like I said, two extremes compared to a stock. So I think it'll be interesting to just see what the difference is between them, how tall one is versus the other one. I mean, you can see here that just right off the bat, there's a good little chunk of space there. So let's just start taking some measurements and then see exactly what the difference is between them. So let's do it. All right, guys, Brian just got here. He's gonna help me measure this trucks real quick. And right off the bat too, guys, I want to apologize. It is pretty windy today, so you guys are probably gonna hear that here on the mic. Hopefully not. We also got my neighbors and everything doing their thing, so apologize for that. But let's jump right into it. We're gonna measure first the white truck, see how tall it is from the ground all the way to the top of the ceiling, and then we're gonna measure the red truck as well, compare the size on that, and then obviously we're gonna measure our wheel difference just to show you guys, and just go from there. Let's do it. All right, guys, so you just saw our super scientific way of measuring this, and we are sitting at 66 inches tall on the 88 Mazda, and then we are sitting about 55 inches on the B2000. So that's exactly about a foot and 1 inch difference on both trucks, which I think is kind of obvious to tell sometimes, especially when you see them side by side like this. It's kind of obvious there's quite a bit of difference in there. So let's measure the wheels just so we can get calculate what the difference is just based on the wheels themselves, and then we'll just kind of show you around a little bit so you can see it. All right, guys, so here we're looking at the 18x9s. You've seen these wheels plenty, but if we measure from the top, from the bottom right to the top, even though they do say it's a 31-inch diameter, they're actually 30 inches tall. So let's go and measure the 16s on the B2000, and then we can see what the difference is just on wheel and tire combo alone. All right, guys, and here we're looking at the B2000, and we are measuring the wheel, and that is basically, if we see there, about 22 inch. That's about 22 inches. So we're looking at about exactly an 8-inch difference just on wheel and tire combo alone from the 30-inch overall size on the white 88 Mazda versus the 22 inches here with the 16 and skinny tires. So let's say your Mazda was completely factory and you have your factory 14-inch wheels. If you went to a skinny tire, even if you went up on size on the wheel themselves, you'll probably be dropping about 2, 3, 4 inches maybe just on that combination alone. Something to keep in mind though, your speedometer is going to be off. And we can tell you from experience, guys, just me on my red Mazda, I already know that around 40 miles per hour, I'm gonna have a 5 mile per hour difference. And if I'm going faster than that, it's about a 10 mile per hour difference. So when my speedometer says I'm going 70, I'm actually going 60, or if it says I'm going 75, I'm actually going 65. And I think Brian has a similar thing on his truck.
Mine's just like a 5 mile per hour difference. So usually when I'm going like 75 or 70, it's actually going 65 or 70.
Yeah, so
it usually kicks in after like 30 miles per hour.
30 yeah.
It's a 5 mile per hour difference after that.
Like I said, the faster you go, the faster the difference is gonna be, or the bigger the difference is gonna be. So just something to keep track of. Just another quick thing too, like you can see here, like the bumper line, the bottom of the bumper line here on the white Mazda, it's almost lined up with the top of the bumper here. It's not exactly there, but I mean, you almost could fit this bumper right underneath that if you tried it. And while we're talking about bumpers here, guys, let's just talk about the ground clearance here. And then here you can see, basically, I'm trying to look here, get a better angle. It's about maybe 8 inches before the bottom of the bumper hits anything. So you have maybe 8 inches. It's kind of hard to tell. Right. And like Brian's saying, that's not including everything underneath the truck, which is also a lot lower than the bumpers. That's just the bumper clearance here on the front. If we look over here at the 88 Mazda, obviously we can go over curves easily. I mean, that right there on just the bumper clearance, we got about 18 or 17 and a half inches. Lots of clearance there. If you don't want to have to worry about curves, lifting it is the way to go. Now, if you want to worry about cracks on the road, lowering it is the way to go. Okay, guys, and here we are looking at the frame clearance, and there we can see that is exactly about 1 foot and like a quarter, right?
Yeah, about a quarter.
Yeah, so 12 inches and a quarter. It's the clearance we have exactly from the ground right into the frame of the 88 Mazda. And then if we look at the red one over here, this is going to be hard for us to even measure. I think we're probably going to be looking about, it's in there, you see it? 3 inches, 4 inches maybe? We are about 4.5 inches. We are 4.5 inches from the ground to the frame, around the middle of the cab on the 88 Mazda. No wonder every time I go over bumps and stuff, I'm scraping everywhere, guys. All right, guys, and just on frame clearance alone, we are looking at, again, 8 inches. I think 8 inches seems to be a very recurring number here every time we measure and everything. The main top difference is about a foot, but everything else seems to be hovering around 8 inches of difference. And one thing to keep in mind as well, guys, with the 4 inches of clearance from the frame on the lower truck, you are going to be scraping absolutely everywhere for the most part. You have to really be careful about taking driveway entrances, where you're going to park. Be careful where your bumper is. So if you are thinking about lowering your truck and you're thinking about going this low, that's one thing to keep in mind, guys. It is not for everyone. Your ride is going to be bouncier. You're going to be hitting a lot of stuff along the road. You have to be careful of where you're driving. So one thing to keep in mind, if you look at Brian's lowerings, like basically when we lower his truck, his only has a 2-3 drop. So he has a lot more clearance than I have on my red Mazda, which is a lot nicer for daily driving. That's going to be able to get you in most driveways, get you over bumps and everything just fine. With the Mazda here, the red one, you will have to be more conscious of that. Now, if you end up lifting your truck, then obviously you don't have to worry about any of that. You don't have to worry about that. You can run curves, you know, jump it off ramps and whatnot. That'll be up to you, but it's also a lot less hassle when it comes to that. The problem is finding a body lift or finding any lift suspension kits right now for this trucks is really hard because they're so old. I personally haven't found where can get you guys links to lift springs or anything like that. So you guys are gonna have to do the research on that if you're thinking about lifting your truck. All right, guys, and hopefully you enjoyed this small video on the differences between a lifted Mazda and a slam Mazda. Like always, guys, thank you so much for your support and liking our videos and subscribing to the channel. We really appreciate it. Hopefully you guys keep enjoying the content, and again, leave a comment if you think about anything or you have any questions about either of these trucks. We're doing this real quick because I think we're gonna start working on the 88 Mazda a little bit more. My plan is to lower it, take the body lift out of it, and make it maybe not exactly like this one, but just something a little more my style, which is more of a lower truck style on it. So again, thank you so much, guys. We'll see you guys on the next video. Bye.